Hello everyone. Today we'll be learning about Struts 1. Basically, you have two types of Struts applications. Like you have two categories of Struts. One is Struts 1, the first version of Struts, and the other one that we have is Struts 2. So today we'll be learning a simple login application of Struts 1 application. Struts 1 using the concepts of Struts 1. For that, step 1 you have to take a new project. NetBeans comes up with automatic built-in of your struts. So you can see here, select web application, name your application as struts1 login example. This is the name that I'm going to give it. Click next, and then you have to select your framework as Glassfish, Java version, and the name. And here in the frameworks, you have to select, it comes already with struts 1.3. This is the version. You can see there struts 1.3.0. These are all the things that you are going to have with respect to your struts 1. Try to add TLDs, that is tag library descriptors, and you can see here this is your servlet name and all the things will come by default. These are all the default things. Okay, so let's see our first application of your struts using struts 1. So here is our example. You can see, you can just open the web pages. These are the files related to your struts. This is the first page. Welcome to struts.jsp. Let us run this. You can see some packages, some libraries that comes up with the struts. These are all the built-in libraries of struts 1.3. So let me run this and check it out whether my struts 1 is working perfectly or not. So I'm running my welcome page. So here is the outcome of your welcome struts. It is showing, giving you this outcome. Struts application in NetBeans. It is easy to create struts application in NetBeans. Moving ahead with the next thing, let us take three web pages. First web page, I'll take a login page. Second one, I'll be taking a success page. And third one, I'll be taking a failure page. So let's take the first JSP, and the name of the JSP that I'll be giving here is login. Can place it in the web pages folder. It is there already, where I'll be creating a login form on login.jsp. And in case if the login is successfully done, then it will go to the success page. I'm creating success.jsp as well. And then in case if the login is not successful, then it will be going to failure.jsp. So let us create our first page, that is login.jsp. Before we start up with login.jsp, Struts comes up with what? With some built-in libraries, as you can see it over here. What is the built-in library over here? These are all the libraries. Okay, so just copy and paste all the libraries on each and every page where you're working with the struts. Try to import all the libraries that have been mentioned. Okay, and here on the success page, I'll just write it as, or you can just write it as logged in successfully. And on the failure page, I'll write it as please try again. Some red color. Congratulations. So this is how my 2 pages are already ready. You can just check out the things. This is success and this is failure page. Now our success and failure pages are ready. Let's create a login page. As we know it very well, inside a login page, we need to have a user ID. We need to have a password. So let's create here. You can go ahead with your own designing. Taking a form. Action will decide it later on. And method is equals to, there are 2 types of methods, get and post. You can decide that. I'm taking here the post method. The next thing I'll be taking here is username and password. Closing the H2, I'll be taking a text box. Input type is equals to text. Name is equals to, I'll give it as username and I'll define it as required. In a similar way, I'll be taking password also. Input type is equals to, here I have to take it as password. And the name for the text box, I'll be giving it as pass. Last but not the least, I have to take a button. Input type is equals to submit. And the value what you want to print on the button is login. Okay. You can break the lines as well by mentioning BR tags. So I'm taking a BR tag as well. You can take one more button to reset it. Input type is equals to reset. Value is equals to reset. Done. Let's see how the look is appearing for this one. So you can see there, username, login form, username, input type, text box has appeared after the username, and then you can see a password that's appearing after the button, and then there are 2 buttons over there, that is login and reset. Okay, so reset will remove everything. Now our front view is ready. You can go for some background colors and all the things. So our front view is ready, right? Now let's go and create a next file that is nothing but what? You can just go ahead. Action form bean. In struts 1, we do have action form bean. So you can, don't select struts 2, you can see struts 1. This is an action form bean. Then select next, name it as login bean. Name it as what? Name it as a login bean, and the package name you can put it in your own package, or if you have already the package you can select the package and then click next. So here, this is the login bean, struts action bean that is coming over here. So we have 2 fields over here. One is your name and the other one is password. So let's follow the same thing over here. Delete all the codes. Let's implement it with the help of getters and setters. Let's remove all the Right. So here, let's take string. The name of the text box was uname. String. The name of the text box was password. Right click, insert code, implements its getters and setters so that you can get and set the values. So I'm done with the getters and I'm done with the setters. So you can see there you have got getters and setters. There's a constructor and here you can see here get name. It is not get name, it is get uname. So you can see it very clearly. That is nothing but what? That is get new name. If you want to edit this, you can edit it upon your own. For time being, I'm just making it as a comment. Right. Now, this is your action bean class, which is nothing but what? Getting and setting your things off from struts. And this action bean class, it extends org.apache.struts.action form. Now, let us take the other thing that we are going to have it. That is nothing but what? Let us take one more, what do you say? Let us take one more struts action. We'll take one more class over here, right click, new others, and then you can just take it over here. That is from the struts. This is struts action. And here the name of the struts action, I'll be giving it as login form, and the package name, of course, you can place it in the same package. You can place it in the same package and then you can see the action path is mentioned if you want to give a name. So path is nothing about what? The name that you are giving over here. So I'm giving here the path name as login form. Click next. And then here what it is, use action form bean, and then what is it saying over here is I will take it as request to scope, validate your action form bean. So you can see there you need to follow all these things. You need to make it as a request to scope. Validation, I'm just removing it and then click on finish. Now you can see here because validation will be doing it in login bean. So here this is nothing but what this is going to have. This is acting as a controller which will be nothing but what? Which will be redirecting. You can see already there's a string called as success. If it is success, you have to. Now similarly we have the other one as well. That is there are already the built-in strings. So the other built-in string that we are going to have is failure. If it is equals to failure, then you are going to use what? You have to give it as what? You have to give it as failure. So this is how you will be mentioning. There are two things. If success takes place, if your string is success, it will be returning success string. If your login is failure, then it will be returning failure. And execute is a compulsory method which will be executing the things of your login forms, right? So how you will be executing? See here, login bean space, let's create an object lb is equals to what? You're converting your login bean of form type. So here this is an application form which you are converting it and you're mentioning it over here as what? If you're mentioning here, if login bean object dot get uname, if your username is equals to, if your username is equals to, I'll just mention my username as admin. If your username is equals to admin, and you can mention two conditions over here, and if your password is equals to what? If your password is equals to admin 123, this is what I have mentioned here. If your username and if your password is equals to admin and admin 123, then you have to give it as what? Return. If it is equal, then you have to give it as return it as success. Okay, now in the similar way you can write it down else, and here if it is not equals to that, then you can mention it over there. That is nothing but what? Else you can mention it over here as failure. So these are the things, that's how you will be mentioning it in your login form. So this is the way how the flow goes from one page to the other page. So first of all, it will be getting and setting the things over here inside your login bean, and if you want to mention, you can mention it over here. If the name is null, it's not get name, it is get you name. So you can just replace it over here, get you name. In case if this is null, you can mention it over here. Null means if you give some blank value, then or else if the length is less than -1, it will give you as what? Name is required. Similarly, you can mention it with respect to password as well. Okay, I'm just removing the comment. Last but not the least that you have to do over here is mapping. Mapping means if it is success, which page it should go. If it is failure, to which page it should come. Here we have mentioned as what? If admin and admin 1 to 3 is there, it has to return success. And if it is not admin 1 to 3, it has to return a failure. Now, let us say if it is success, if it is returning success, where it should go. So you can do mapping inside a file, and that file is strutsconfig.xml. This is an XML file where you will be writing mappings. So here this is actually the file where you will be writing all the mappings, from which page it is coming to which page it should go. That we call it as nothing but what? Mapping. So let's go ahead and write down a mapping for our things. Okay, so a simple thing that we are going to have over here is, so you can just click on enter, and then what you will be going to do over there is add forward. So you can just go over here, struts, you can see add forward or add action. What action? If your action path is, I think if your action path is nothing but what, forward action, then it has to go to which page? It has to go to success page. So you have to write it as success.jsp. That is what it is. I think the file, you can browse it over here, that is success. So the name that you are going to have over here, that you are going to mention here, that is path is the second one. Here you have to just mention the name. If it is success, I think incorrect. 1 second. So what you are going to do over here is you have to mention here that is incorrect path. 1 second. So resource file is success. That's what I have mentioned already. So mention it as success. So forward it to whom? It has to forward it to success. This one, forward should be to the success, and name this, sorry, action. The name is success, and the path that you are going to have is nothing but what? It has to go to success.jsp. Once again, let me just repeat it. Go to action mappings, struts, you can just go on add forward. So here you have to mention the name as success. If it is success, it has to go to which page? It has to go to success.jsp. Okay, it has to go to success.jsp. That's what you are going to mention it over here. See here, if the name is success, then it has to go to success.jsp. In the similar way, you can go ahead and you can write down if it is failure, then it has to go to whom? It has to go to your failure.jsp. That's how you are going to mention. Click on add. Okay, so this file will be returning, sorry, this file will be returning success or failure based upon the things that you are going to mention it. Okay, so let's go for the final mapping, that is action over here. So let's go ahead and mention what we will be mentioning, the action. So how we'll be mentioning the action over here? Upon submission of the form, it has to go to whom? Upon submission of the form, it has to go to your login form, right? So it has to go to your login form dot do. This is the extension that you write it for every form things. Okay, so you can check out the things in your this, and also let us set a welcome page. So what should be your first page? Your first page upon running the application should be login.jsp, or else you can browse and also select it. The first page you can of your application, you can set it over here. That will be automatically modified. Okay, that will be automatically modified over here as the first page. So these are all the libraries. Do not disturb it. Action should have do. So you can see there. So this is how your first application of your NetBeans is ready. Let us clean and build and then run the application. It is built successful. Let us run the application now. Application is ready. Close all the things. I think I have closed it. Let me just run it once again. So we have already set this should be our first page. So let me write the login name as admin and password as admin123. Click on login. Okay, there's something wrong. Spelling mistake over here, just edit it. Spelling mistake. Rerun the application. So this is how it will go to your success page. Refresh. Give some random name, random password, login. This is how it is going to give you. You have not logged in into your application. So that's your Struts 1 application.